You want to be the first player to get 17 or more points. The game is played in a series of rounds. A round lasts until you go through the deck and until everyone has played out all the cards in their hands. At that point, you score points based on the cards that you have harvested. Whoever has harvested the most cards, regardless of their suit or value, collects 4 points. Whoever has collected the most summer cards gets 2 points, while whoever has harvested the most winter cards loses 2 points. In addition, you get 1 point for each Fool that you harvest, for each Ocus, and for each Luminary. And we'll talk about those later. So in short, you want to harvest as many cards as you can, especially Summer and Fools, while being careful about how much winter you take. Now let's talk about how you play the game. On your turn, you are going to choose 1 card from your hand and 1 of the 4 fields. It can be any of the 4, but you can only interact with 1 field at a time. So choose your card, choose your field, and do 1 of 3 actions. The core action is harvesting. When you harvest, reveal your card, pick your field, and collect any cards from that field that match the value of what you played. So when I play a 13, I can collect a 13. Take those cards, set them aside. That's your score pile that you will count at the end of the game. So that's a great move. But you always want to look and see if you can get more cards with your play. With this same 13 over here, I can collect the 5 and the 8 because that combines together to a value of 13. So I could collect all 3 of those cards. But better yet, with that same 13 over here in this field, I can collect the 13 and I can also collect the 7 and the 6. Because they combine to form another instance of 13. So I would be able to collect all 4 of those cards and clear this field. If you don't see a great opportunity, another option is to stockpile. When you stockpile, you combine a card from your hand with 1 or more cards in a field to create a stack with a new value. So here I have added my 5 to the 7 points of cards already in the field to create a 12. Once you have done that, the stockpile cannot be separated. It's a single unit with a value of 12. The point of creating a stockpile is to create an opportunity that wasn't there. I now have the ability to collect this with the 12 I have in my hand and to collect 4 cards that I couldn't earlier in the game. However, there is the risk that someone may harvest the 12. Before we can get started, there's one more thing you need to know about, and that's the Illimat. This is the box for the game, but it's also part of the game. It sets the season for each field, and that can limit the actions you can perform. You can do anything in the summer field, but you cannot sow, that's discarding, into autumn. You cannot harvest collecting cards from winter. And you cannot stockpile combining cards in spring. Any time that you play a face card, a card with a name and a picture, regardless of the action that you take with it, at the end of your turn, you will change the season to match the card that you played. So whether I harvest, stockpile, or sow, anywhere that I use the Queen of Spring, it will become spring at the end of my turn. Now let's play around. I'll guide you through this first round. Each player gets 4 cards, except for the first player, who only gets 3 cards. They'll drop to 4 at the end of the round. Someone's just cleared a field for the first time. Woohoo! Congratulations! Now, when that happens, the first thing is that they get to take an Ocus if there's one on the Illimat. Each Ocus is worth 1 point at the end of the game. They draw back until they have 4 cards. We put 3 new cards into the field, and then, if there's a luminary in the corner, we reveal the luminary. Each luminary has some sort of special power. You can find the rules for the luminaries in the rule book, but the picture also hints at what the card does. So in the case of the maiden, As long as she is on the board, she cancels winter so that people can harvest from winter. And that lasts until she is removed from the board. Now, when someone clears a field and a luminary is already revealed, they collect the luminary, which is worth a point at the end of the game.